to do so. The adventure of wholehearted living launched my work, continues to inform my relationship with Steve, helps me find the courage to be the parent I want to be and the grace to try again when I'm not. And most of all, this work continues to lead me back to myself, all of myself, the parts I love and the parts I've orphaned, and keep bringing back home so I can wipe their noses, bandage their skinned knees, and be whole. I wrote The Gifts in my early 40s. Helen was 11 years old when it came out, and Charlie was only 5. Now, Ellen is a senior in college, and Charlie's about to start high school. I haven't changed the stories or much of the text. The lessons are the same, even though the kids are older. Steve and I have more wrinkles and gray hair, and some of the concepts have become the foundation of entire books. Integration. When we talked to the readers about the 10th anniversary edition, people were very clear that the text shouldn't change. This book has become a reference guide and touchstone for many people, and we want to honor this. We did, however, add a new integration index so that you, as a listener or as a reader, can start to embed the work in your life. When we were doing the research for Rising Strong, we discovered more about how creativity is the engine that drives integration. It helps us transform knowledge into practice. Basically, we move what we're learning from our heads to our hearts through our hands. We created an index that you'll be able to find. You can download it for free on the Brené Brown Gifts of Imperfection hub on our website. Just go to brenebrown.com and you can go to the Gifts of Imperfection hub, and there's all kinds of free resources and downloads. Very specifically, I want to talk to you about this integration index. I adapted it from a system that I heard Maria Popova explain to Tim Ferriss during a podcast in 2014. Maria is a writer, poet, cultural critic, and the genius curator behind brainpickings.org, which is a newsletter and online publication that's been added to the Library of Congress's permanent digital archive of culturally valuable materials. I discovered this integration index idea 6 years ago, and Maria may no longer use this approach. However, for those of us who spent many hours wondering how she tracked, connected, and wove together all of the source materials she shares on brainpickings.org, it was a brilliant illumination. In the podcast, Maria explained that when you read a book or when you listen to a book, you walk away with certain takeaways that are thematically linked. In most books, these takeaways don't occur sequentially. An alternative index is based on ideas that are important to you, not just keywords. So a personalized index allows you to find and document the patterns that create personal meaning and understanding. I started creating alternative indexes, and it's transformed the way I read and listen, the way I learn, the way I research, and the way I integrate work. For example, in Ibram Kendi's book, How to Be an Anti-Racist, I wanted to create an index that was meaningful for me so that I could go back and either listen to or reread passages that meant something to me. So let me tell you about the sections that I developed myself for How to Be an Anti-Racist. The first was I created a section called Beautiful Language, and I actually borrowed this one from Maria. This is anytime I'm listening to a book or I'm reading a book and there's a turn of phrase, a collection of words that I think are just beautiful. I want to either timestamp if I'm listening or write down the page numbers if I'm reading so that I can go back and find those. I also have a section called Don't Understand, Need to Learn More. That's where maybe the author or the reader says something or writes something that I don't fully get, and I want to track back and reread it and dig in. I have a personal favorite, which is FD, stands for family dinner, something I want to talk about with Steve and the kids over family dinner. I have another section that I called Had No Idea. And this is for when I'm reading or listening and someone talks about something that is completely either surprising or maybe even shocking to me. There's always more books to read. So has the author turned me on to something that I want to go look at? Because I work in leadership and organizational development so much, I also have a special index that says organizational culture change. If I read something that I think will be helpful for me, or I'm listening to a book and there's something that will be helpful for me, I just write down the time mark of the page number. I have another one that says